Today I am going to start a new topic which is nuclear physics. Actually, this series of lecture will be very important for the students of semester 3 of MSc. So, the first topic of nuclear physics which I am going to deal with is nuclear force. In the present lecture, I am just giving you an overview, or you may say an introduction regarding the nuclear force, or you may say nucleon potential. Actually, to ascertain the many properties of nuclei and to deal with problems such as nuclear structure and binding energies, it is essential to understand the nature of the forces existing between nucleons, that is, neutrons and protons in the nucleus. However, there is not enough known about the internucleon forces, and it is difficult to predict the nuclear properties accurately. You know, nuclear force is actually very mysterious, and it is till now a subject of research because all the properties of nuclear force is not known till date. But in spite of this, theoretical predictions have been made and experiments performed to substantiate these predictions. And so consequently, we know a great deal about the nature of the nuclear forces despite the fact that the form of the nuclear force law is not known explicitly till date. For example, we know the Coulomb's law, its exact mathematical form. But like Coulomb's law, you can't predict any formula to govern the nuclear force. On what factors it depends on, it is till date a subject of research. Actually, nucleus composed of so many nucleons, and so it is a complex structure. You know, nucleons are quantum mechanical systems, so definitely quantum mechanical treatment is always required to deal with such a system. And as this system contains so many nucleons, so it is just a many body problem. And you know, in quantum mechanics, to deal with many body problem is not very easy. We have to take so many assumptions. So even if the internucleon forces were known fully, the nucleus would present a formidable problem for the complete solution. But in its simplest form, the two nucleon potentials is considered central and attractive. You know, deuteron is a two nucleon system, and this is an ideal system, or you may say simplest system to deal with the nuclear force. Now I am giving you some common potentials to investigate the nature of nuclear force and to make essential calculations. You can see here, I have just written for your convenience. There are four simplest potentials to deal with the nuclear force, essentially the attractive nuclear force. But you should note, nuclear force is not only attractive, it may be repulsive. Actually, it depends upon the separation between the nucleon, but here the four basic potentials to deal with the nuclear force have been assumed attractive. So first one, and the most important and most simplest potential, is the square wave potential. How this square wave potential is defined? First of all, you may see its definition. You have definitely studied this very potential in quantum mechanics, and this potential is defined as V of R equal to minus V naught. But when R is less or equal to R naught, and it is 0 when R is greater than R naught. Here R is what? R is actually relative coordinate of the two nucleon. What do you understand by the relative coordinate? You can see here. Let us consider there are two nucleons. This is number 1 and this is number 2. And relative to some arbitrary origin, let us say O, the position vector of nucleon 1 is R1 and that of 2 is R2. In this condition, if we have to find the position vector of nucleon 2 with respect to 1, what will be that? If it is R, this is called relative coordinate, that will be equal to R2 minus R1. Similarly, if you want to find the position of nucleon 1 with respect to 2, that will be simply R1 minus R2. Magnitude will be same, but direction will be different. And so you may say this R is relative coordinate or relative separation between the two nucleons under consideration. And here the quantity V naught is what? This is called depth of the potential. See this figure, I have plotted this potential on graph. V, the graph shows the variation of V of R in against of R. Here, when R ranges from 0 to a particular value of R, which is R naught, until that this potential is at a fixed value of minus V naught. And for the value R greater than R naught, you may see this potential abruptly falls to 0 and remains 0 when R tends to infinity. And so this R naught has a particular significance or this is very important parameter which corresponds to the range of the nuclear force. R naught, you can say it is a parameter which corresponds to range of the nuclear force. When you say range of the nuclear force, it means this is the distance up to which nuclear force has an appreciable value or it is effective. Another important potential used to investigate the nature of nuclear force is exponential potential. And how it is defined? It is defined as V of R equal to minus V naught e to the power minus R over R naught. The significance of different terms in this equation is same as that of in case of a square wave potential. So there is no need to write down or understand what the different terms depicts. Now, the third important basic potential to deal with the nature of nuclear force is known as Gaussian potential. And how it is defined? It is defined as, see here, V of R is equal to minus V naught e to the power minus R square over R naught square. This is actually the basic definition of Gaussian potential. And the fourth important basic potential or common potential used to investigate the nature of nucleon potential, or you may say nuclear force, is known as Yukawa potential. This is actually of a specific importance. In this topic, in the forthcoming lecture, we will deal with Yukawa's interaction, where this potential will be dealt in very detail. Here I have told you that I am just going to inform you only the form of potentials used for investigation of the nuclear force. I am not giving any detail regarding these potentials. This is just an insight or a focus to you what mathematical tools are used to investigate the nuclear force. So Yukawa potential is denoted by V of R, and it is defined as minus V naught e to the power minus R over R naught over R by R naught. So these were the four common potentials used to investigate the nature of nuclear force. And remember, among these forces, the most common and most popular and most used and most simplest potential is a square wave potential, used by the physicists for the investigation of nature of nuclear force. Now you can see in these four potentials, all the potentials are space dependent. That is, every potential depends on r, which is actually a space coordinate. R means x, y, z. But the short range behavior and exchange character of the nuclear force cannot be explained only by taking into account the dependence of potential on R only. So, we must consider the direction of R to account with the exchange character and short range behavior of the nuclear force. So, for this, we have to use the other potentials too. So I have just for your convenience written here, the nature of the nuclear force depends not only on R but also on the direction of R and the nuclear and the nucleon spin. So if we want to include the short range behavior and the exchange property of the nuclear force in our discussion, we must have to change the form of the potential used for this purpose. Actually, the nucleon spin is defined in this manner. See here, nucleon spin is defined as S equal to H cross sigma over 2. Here sigma is what? You know, you have definitely studied in quantum mechanics. This sigma is known as Pauli spin matrix. This is Pauli spin matrix. So you can see the potential which was only R dependent was those four potentials, but to include all the characteristics of nuclear force, we must have to change the form of the potential. But all those four potentials which are only R dependent, or you may say only space dependent, these four potentials are collectively known as Wigner potential. So the potential defined from number 1, that is square wave potential, to the number 4, that is Yukawa potential, all these four potentials are collectively called Wigner potential. And you can see this Wigner potential deal with only radial part of the wave function, and they have no exchange property. So to take into account of the short range behavior and exchange property of the nuclear force, and you may also say it's spin dependent, or you may call it's charge independent. These are different properties which I will discuss in more detail in the forthcoming lecture. So for the inclusion of all these properties, definitely the form of potential must be changed, and for this purpose there are three more potentials, and those three more potentials are what? These are called, first is Majorana potential, the second one is Bartlett potential, and the third one is Heisenberg potential. Now I will just give you a brief information about these potentials, not in detail, as I have told you. The problems related to these potentials will be dealt with in very detail in the forthcoming lectures. But in this introduction, I am just introducing these potentials Actually, you can say these are the mathematical tools by virtue of which we can deal the nuclear force. So first one is Majorana potential. Actually, Majorana potential is concerned with exchange of the space coordinate r. When you say space coordinate r, it means you are talking about the space coordinate x, y, z. So Majorana potential is concerned with the exchange of a space coordinate vector r, or you may say x, y, z. But how this potential is defined? Majorana potential is denoted by Vm of r. Here m is the subscript used in a small letter, and this is defined as minus Vm of r px. See here, this minus sign indicates actually the attractive nature of the force or potential. And what is this P of Px? This P of Px is actually the space exchange operator. And what do you understand when I say this is a space exchange operator? It means whenever this operator will be operated on a wave function, the space coordinate will be just exchanged. It means the space coordinate of first nucleon will become the space coordinate of second nucleon, and that of the second nucleon will become of first nucleon. See here, psi of r1 r2, this is actually what? This is a special part of the quantum mechanical wave function of two nucleon system. You have seen in the previous figure that there are two nucleons, say 1, and this is nucleon number 2. And as I have told you, the position vector of first nucleon is r1 relative to an arbitrary origin, and that of the second nucleon is r2 relative to that origin. In that condition, when you say that psi of r1 r2 is the wave function of this two nucleon system, and if this space exchange operator px is operated on this wave function psi of r1 r2, what will be the result? Result will be simply the exchange of position coordinates or position vector. So now the wave function is a function of r2 and r1. It means the position vector of nucleon 1, which was r1 before the operation of this operator, now becomes r2 after the operation of this operator, and the position vector r2 of the second nucleon, which was before the operation of this operator, now becomes r1. So you can see this operator just exchanges the position vector or position coordinate, so it is called a space exchange operator. So this is the meaning of the Majorana potential. Now the second important potential is Bartlett potential. Actually, Bartlett potential is concerned with the exchange of the spin coordinate. Remember, Majorana potential was concerned with the exchange of a space coordinate, and Bartlett potential is concerned with exchange of a spin coordinate. And this will be defined in same manner. If Vb of r is the Bartlett potential when the nucleon separation is r, then it is defined as minus Vb of r times P sigma. And what is this P sigma? Actually, this P sigma is just like Px. Px was what? Px was the space exchange operator, and this P sigma is what? This is a spin exchange operator. Here the subscript sigma actually refers the Pauli spin matrices, so the subscript sigma has been used. And how this operator works, you can see, if we operate this operator P sigma, which is called a spin exchange operator, on a wave function chi of sigma c2, simply the spin coordinates sigma 1 and sigma 2 of the first nucleon and the second nucleon will get just exchanged after the operation of this operator. So the resultant wave function becomes chi of sigma 2 and sigma 1. So sigma 1 has been replaced by sigma 2 and sigma 2 has been replaced by sigma 1. And what is this chi? Actually, this chi is a spin part of the total wave function for the nucleus. You know, a wave function of any quantum mechanical system possessing the property of a spin has two parts. First part is called a space part and second part is known as a spin part. So this chi is actually the spin part of the total wave function for the nucleons. So this is all about the Bartlett potential in brief. Now the third and the most important potential to deal with the nuclear force, or you may say nucleon-nucleon interaction, is known as Heisenberg potential. You may see Heisenberg potential is actually concerned with exchange of both space and spin coordinates. So this is just a generalized form of above two potentials. You have seen that Majorana potential is concerned with exchange of space coordinates. Bartlett potential is concerned with exchange of spin coordinates, and Heisenberg potential is concerned with exchange of both space and spin coordinates. And how it is defined? It is defined as Vh of r equal to minus Vh of r times pH. And what is this pH? This pH is just like px or p sigma, an operator that exchanges both spin and position coordinate. So if you will apply this operator pH on a wave function psi of r1, r2, sigma 1, sigma 2. Remember, I have just considered a system consisting of only two nucleons, just like you may say a deuteron. So in this case, this wave function is actually the total wave function. Its space part is referred by r1, r2 and spin part is referred by sigma 1, sigma 2. When this operator pH is operated on this wave function, the result will be what? The space coordinate r1, r2 is just exchanged. The spin coordinates sigma 1, sigma 2 are also just exchanged. So the result becomes psi of r2, r1, sigma 2, sigma 1. So this is all about the Heisenberg potential. Now, I am just giving you a plan of our lecture of this topic, that is nuclear force. Actually, to investigate the nature of nuclear force or nucleon-nucleon potential, we will first treat the bond state deuteron problem quantum mechanically, assuming the central forces only. Remember, we will learn in the forthcoming lecture that actually the nuclear force is not a completely central force, but in this treatment of the deuteron problem by the square wave potential, we will assume it as a central force. The neutron-proton scattering will next be discussed with central potential. So what are our plan? I am just mentioning, first of all, we will deal with ground state of deuteron. Ground state of deuteron, taking the nucleon-nucleon interaction as a central force. Next, we will consider the neutron-proton scattering, NP scattering, we will consider for the investigation of nuclear force. And this treatment previously will be concerned without neglecting the spin. Our discussion will be neglecting the spin of nucleon. But in further lecture, we will take into account the spin property too. So our next discussion will be considering spin. Considering spin. And we shall then consider this problem from the standpoint of view of the effective range theory. Effective range theory. Effective range theory. And you know, this effective range theory is independent of the form of the potential. It is independent of the form of the potential. Since there is adequate evidence that the force within the deuteron may not be purely central, as I have told you earlier, we will use tensor interaction in investigating the deuteron problem. So tensor force will be included. So tensor interaction or tensor force, you may say, will be considered later on. And hence you can say this chapter is concerned primarily with the two nucleon interaction at low energy and high energy. So two nucleon interaction at low and high energy. We will consider it. Apart from this, we will deal with the isospin formalism and Yukawa's-Meson field theory. So isospin formalism and Yukawa's interaction. Finally, we will consider it. You will see that from Yukawa's Meson field theory, we find a particular nature of this nuclear force, which is actually its short range behavior. So this was a brief introduction or an overview of this very important topic, which is the nuclear force. And in next lecture, I will start the first problem, that is ground state of deuteron, to look into the behavior of the very mysterious